Good morning, everybody, from a very crowded Terminal 5 in Los Angeles. Today we're taking a JetBlue A321 back home to Fort Lauderdale. So let's go into the terminal and get checked in. Alright everybody, and welcome to Terminal 5 here at LAX. Right here is the JetBlue check-in area, and they share a terminal with Spirit Airlines and some American Airlines flights as well. Alright, today we're on JetBlue Flight 100 to Fort Lauderdale, boarding at gate 55B, so let's go. And right here's our gate for today, 55B. It has a great view of the American Airlines terminal, which is Terminal 4 next to us. And there are a lot of other JetBlue flights leaving at this time. As you can see, our flight's on the screen by the gate. The plane's on its way in right now from Fort Lauderdale. In order to accommodate more aircraft in this terminal, some of the gates are split to A and B, so there's 55A and 55B, and some of the other gates as well. Before we go get something to eat, here's a quick shot of an American A321neo going over to Chicago O'Hare in a couple of minutes. And right here's a very rare one for us, a very new Hawaiian 787-9 Dreamliner going over to Honolulu. And also this Spirit A321's going over to Viva Las Vegas. And last but not least, this Spirit A320 is going over to Kansas City. Alright, today's breakfast / lunch in Terminal 5, Rock and Brews. Today's breakfast, chicken and waffles. Yeah, that was pretty good. Alright, and after a great breakfast at Rock and Brews, let's go back to our gate 55B. And here we are back at our gate 55B. Our aircraft just arrived from Fort Lauderdale, so let's go check it out. And this right here is our aircraft for today, November 984 Juliet Bravo, an 8-year-old Airbus A321 with serial number 07874. Just arrived a couple minutes ago from Fort Lauderdale. The nickname is Suavemente. As you can see in the back, this aircraft in particular is JetBlue's original A321 Prism tail livery. One other thing that I find super cool about every JetBlue aircraft is that they all have nicknames. So this one is nicknamed Suavemente. As you can see right here, the gate agent is doing final operations before boarding our aircraft. And this American 737-800 pushing back is going over to Nashville. And this right out here is something I don't typically see until around October, but that's an Air Canada 777-200 that just arrived from Toronto. And right here's a closer shot of that Air Canada 777 that arrived from Toronto. All the way in the back, that United 787 just arrived from Tokyo, Japan. And this American A321 right here came in from Charlotte. Alright, and we're boarding now for Fort Lauderdale, gate 55B. Hi. How are you? Thanks.
Hi, welcome aboard.
How are you? And welcome aboard the JetBlue A321. This right here is the Mint Business Class cabin. Hi, good morning. And this right here is even more space, marked in the orange headrest. Perfect mood lighting, I must say. And here's our seat for today, 15F. Alright, and welcome aboard the JetBlue A321. We're in seat 15F. Right here we have an adjustable headrest. Good as usual. IFE screen, which is what JetBlue's really known for. I love it every time. Here we have a tray table, nice and sturdy. Seat back pocket right here with a safety card and a bumpy flight bag. It's like it's bumpy. So yeah, you know the drill. Cup holder here as well, and 2 windows today, but we're going to be using this front one. In case a person doesn't like to use the touchscreen, or if it doesn't work, you can use this remote located in the armrest. JetBlue for sure is the best legroom in coach and the best mood lighting. This right here is our wing view for today, and that Alaska E-175 right there, not the one taking off, but the one taxiing in, is coming from Fresno, Yosemite. One other awesome thing is that JetBlue includes their aircraft's nickname in every single screen. Alright, these are the last views of the beautiful aircraft parked in the hangars at LAX, because we're pushing back in just a second. And that JetBlue A321neo just departed for Boston.
It's like we are just about ready to go, save for a couple last minute bags to get you pushed back. And on your way, once we get your warn, a couple bumps on the climb mount, as well as en route heading to the southeast. 4 hours, 20 minutes is the flight time. And overall, the ride's been pretty good. Of course, we'll try and keep it as smooth as possible. A little rainy and windy for the arrival into Fort Lauderdale later on this evening. Anyway, once again, good afternoon, welcome aboard, and enjoy flight.
Welcome on board. We'd like to introduce ourselves and welcome you to JetBlue. We're happy to have you on board today. My name is Joanna, and it's my pleasure to be flying with Sarah up front, Craig mid-cabin, and Gigi in the aft. Our captain is Dave Wodanowski, accompanied by First Officer James Cannon. Our estimated flying time today will be 4 hours and 21 minutes. Your safety is our top priority, so please give us your attention while we walk you through this plane's safety features. To buckle your seatbelt, insert the flat metal ends into the buckle and pull on the strap to tighten. To release, lift the top flap of the seatbelt of the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened low and tight across your lap, even when the seatbelt sign is off, and have your seatbelt visible to the crew at all times. This Airbus A321 has 8 emergency exits, 2 doors in the front, 4 doors mid-cabin, and 2 doors in the back. Each door is equipped with an evacuation slide. The sides of the front and back of the aircraft can be detached and used as rafts. An additional raft is located in the last left overhead bin. If you have any questions about this plane's safety features, don't hesitate to ask. We'll be coming down the aisle for one last check. Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened, seat back is upright, and tray table is stowed, and all carrying items are put away. Please keep in mind that making calls of any type while in play isn't allowed. This includes voice or video calls with mobile app, Wi-Fi calling, or the use of video conferencing services. And to make this flight more enjoyable for everyone, please use headphones for personal devices or make sure they are silenced. We'll be adjusting the main cabin lights for departure. If you need it, there is a reading light above your seat. We'll be in the air soon. Thank you again for choosing JetBlue.
Alright everybody, we are officially in the air. Welcome aboard JetBlue Flight 100 to Fort Lauderdale. This right here is the IFE system on the JetBlue A321. So first they have DirecTV, so let's check that out. Okay, so for this I'm going to be using the remote on this side, but first let's see if the touchscreen actually works. Well, looks like the touchscreen is not working this time, so let's use the remote. So they have a lot of live TV options like CNN, ESPN, ESPN2, a lot of sports stuff. And they do have categories at the bottom right here, so they have sports, news, varsity, kids, a lot of good options. Let's go back to the home screen. Let's check out movies. A lot of new options. They have all right here, so everything listed in alphabetical order, as well as new releases, action, adventure movies, a lot of good stuff, animation. Back to the home screen we go. Let's just look at the shows. Here they have alphabetical order, but starting with numbers, and then all the same categories as movies, so all action, adventure, animation, all that good stuff. Right down here they have Sirius XM satellite radio, and they have air traffic control, at least on my last flight. Doesn't look like they have it here. They do have a lot of options like 70s on 7, 80s on 8, 90s on 9, pop, good stuff. Here they have info about our trip. So we have 4 hours and 19 minutes left to Fort Lauderdale. We just passed 23,000 feet. We actually departed right on time. We took off at around 11:20, which is when we were scheduled. And now the JetBlue experience. They have info about Even More Space, Mint, FlyFi, TrueBlue, JetBlue Vacations, and mobile devices. And you can also switch the brightness and a couple of other settings on here as well. And that is the JetBlue A321 IFE system. Alright, now let's connect to the JetBlue FlyFi, which is their version of in-flight Wi-Fi. So to agree, you have to go to flyfi.com on your browser. You can either be connected through settings, but that doesn't usually work, so just go directly to flyfi.com. And now we're going to hit connect now. The good thing about this is that it's always free, which is my favorite thing about JetBlue, when it works, of course. This aircraft is nicknamed Suavemente once again, and our destination is Fort Lauderdale. And it's connecting us to the Wi-Fi right now. And just like that, we are connected to the JetBlue FlyFi, so let's do a speed test. Alright, here we go. Speed is building up pretty well. We hit 10 megabits per second, just over that. Very good. Hit 11. Very fast Wi-Fi on JetBlue. It's constantly reliable. Now it's kind of slow. It's not really working. Here we go. Now let's search JetBlue 100. Here we are. Right now we just passed 31,000 feet. Still over California, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully the map loads in a second. We're scheduled to arrive very early into Fort Lauderdale. We departed 1 minute late, which is really great. Our aircraft is November 984 Juliet Bravo, 8-year-old A321, and we're squawked 2072. Alright, we just had our beverage service. Here I got a blackberry bubbly and a lime packet. Best thing to ever exist on JetBlue. No salt, no sugar, nothing, it's just crystallized lime. Mix it all together. Cheers. And we just reached our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet over Phoenix. Alright, flight attendant just brought around snacks, and you already know what I got. Plantain chips. And the captain just turned the seatbelt sign back on. We've been hitting some pretty rough turbulence over the Fort Apache reservation in Arizona. We have 3 hours and 39 minutes left to Fort Lauderdale, and we're scheduled to arrive at Terminal 3, Gate F7. Despite the bumps, these clouds are gorgeous right now over Arizona. And I was able to get a solid 45 minutes of sleep. Right now we're over Western Texas, and we have 2 hours and 40 minutes left to Fort Lauderdale. We're scheduled to land about 40 minutes early at 6:56 p.m. One thing that I find pretty interesting about the JetBlue entertainment system is that on the map, they measure altitude in GPS, not metric or real altitude. So right now it says on here we're at 37,000 feet, but we're really at 35,000 feet. We're not at the halfway point of our flight yet. We should be in a couple of minutes, but this flight is going by very slowly. All the way up front on the right side is the JetBlue pantry where you can get snacks and drinks during the flight. The winds are working in our favor today. We're going over 600 miles an hour right now, but on an A321, that's very fast. And we are now over Waco, Texas. We have 2 hours, 14 minutes left to Fort Lauderdale. Still, we're scheduled to arrive at gate F7 in Terminal 3. One thing that's very interesting, JetBlue always has these card swipers by the IFE screens, but they never work. And frankly, I don't even know what they're for. And now we're just south of Nacogdoches, Texas, and we have 2 hours left to Fort Lauderdale. Alright, we're officially starting to get closer to Fort Lauderdale. Right now we're over southern Louisiana, about to enter the Gulf of America, and we have 1 hour and 34 minutes left to Fort Lauderdale. And we're now over the Gulf of America, and we have 53 minutes left to FLL. After 3 hours and 55 minutes, we've just started our initial descent into Fort Lauderdale over the west coast of Florida. We did have an arrival gate change, so now we're going to be arriving at gate F5 in Terminal 3.
That's for on-time arrival. Seatbelt sign will be on for the rest of the flight. It will be just a little bit bumpy in the descent. Weather down there is beautiful, partly cloudy skies, 90 degrees. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you on the ground shortly.
It's time for the Travelman Rates Flight Edition. Today we'll be rating the seat, the food, the in-flight entertainment, and the service. Let's kick things off with the seat. JetBlue seats are seriously comfortable, plenty of legroom, a comfy headrest, and I had no problem relaxing for the cross-country flight. My only complaint though, the entertainment remote in the armrest was so sensitive that every time I shifted around I'd accidentally hit the brightness button. So I'd basically go from movie night with all the mood lighting and darkness to interrogation room with ultra bright lights all over me. It was annoying. Other than that though, the seat was fantastic, so 4 out of 5 for the seat. Following that, let's talk about food. JetBlue continues to prove that airplane snacks don't have to taste like they were discovered in an archaeological dig. The snack selection is fantastic, the drink options are plentiful, and everything is consistently fresh and high quality. Honestly, choosing just one snack really felt harder than choosing at college, at least to my knowledge. I'm not there yet. Very close though. If airline snacks had a Michelin guide though, JetBlue will be polishing stars. Food gets a 5 out of 5. Now the in-flight entertainment. JetBlue's IFE did have a little stage fright, ladies and gentlemen. The touchscreen responded so slowly that I wasn't sure if I was tapping the screen or submitting a request for approval. Thankfully though, that overly sensitive armrest remote from the seat review actually came in clutch. It was somehow faster than the touchscreen. The Wi-Fi also got off to a painfully slow start, but once it finally woke up, it was fast, reliable, and worked flawlessly for the rest of the flight. Not a perfect performance, but an incredible second half. The IFE earns a 4 out of 5. Finally, let's talk about the service. The service on this flight was great, with one tiny plot twist. Most of the crew was incredibly friendly, welcoming, and worked hard to make the flight enjoyable. But one flight attendant in our cabin wasn't exactly thrilled with the fact that I was filming for the channel. And I get that. If people don't want to be filmed, they don't want to be filmed. That is okay. It's the way it's presented that matters. But let's just say I don't think they're subscribing to the Travelman USA 360 anytime soon. But everyone else was fantastic, and their excellent service more than made up for that one tiny awkward interaction. So the service gets a 4 out of 5. Alright guys, that's out of the way now. JetBlue's A321 service from Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale earns a 17 out of 20. As usual, amazing job, JetBlue.
welcomes you to Fort Lauderdale, where the local time is 6:46. For your safety, please keep buckled up and keep carrying 9 feet away until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. Be careful when opening overhead bins, as items tend to move during flight. If you have received this disclaim at gate, you may pick up your items outside the front boarding door. If you need any help getting off the plane, feel free to remain seated after we've arrived at the gate so we better assist you. For information on connecting flights and baggage claim, you may check airport monitors or download our free JetBlue mobile app. We hope you've enjoyed the JetBlue experience. If you receive an email survey about your trip, we'd love to get your honest feedback. On behalf of all of us here at JetBlue, especially its New York-based crew, thank you again for choosing us. For those of you from Fort Lauderdale, we'd like to be the first to say welcome home.
Welcome to Fort Lauderdale.
Flight crew members, please prepare for arrival.
Alright everybody, and welcome to FLL Gate F5 in the Terminal 3. Alright everybody, welcome to Fort Lauderdale. That was a great flight with JetBlue. I hope you enjoyed. That concludes today's video, so thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Our plane's headed over to Las Vegas next. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. See you later.